Alright, everybody, we are back with a second round match in Hellscube Pro Tour, Hellscube 8. We have Klunkerpunker against Cleveland Gaming. Cleveland will be going first. Cleveland looks like on some sort of Boros aggro, and Klunker on Demir Saboteur. So Cleveland starting off with a plains. Klunker with the island, tapping that for what exactly? I do not know. Oh, for barbershop. Scry one and draw a card. So we shall see what it is they grab. Both Klunker and Cleveland are currently 0-1 in the tournament, so they both really would like to get a win here. Looks like that card on top was Glorpian Infiltrator, the only purple card in Hellscube 8, but it is secretly a Demir card, as you can see by the ninjutsu cost. Cleveland now, playing on a mountain. What are we going to see? Looks like they don't have anything yet. No, Klunker drawing the Lighthound. Klunker certainly does have a very good starting hand, this Gobbler off the bat. Not going to see it though, because we're seeing Island where Jace goes to lose his memories, putting in the Pulverizer, an ordinary Pulverizer. So we'll bring out the 0-3 and the Fedora, and that will most likely be it from Klunker. Back to Cleveland now. Klunker just looking at the other side of the Pulverizer, parry the Pulverizer. Cleveland now paying 2 for Kiki Jiki in a mirror store. 2-2 with haste. Not going to do much against a 0-3 on its own. Now Klunker draws the Edict Dick. Just playing out the totally normal dojo. Now 2 mana up. Blue mana specifically, and it looks like we're going to equip the Fedora to the ordinary Pulverizer. So it's a 1-4 with Skulk. So it can get in there. And it looks like it will. Cleveland goes down to 19. We get parry the Pulverizer. We're going to put a shield counter on target permanent, which will probably be parry. Parry will be a 4-4 with Skulk. Of course, Skulk not very good on something that big, but certainly not the worst. Cleveland playing out another plains, now 2 mana of each color available. Tapping the Kiki Jiki to break a mirror. It's no, going to combat. And that will be it for Cleveland. Leaving up mana for the misclick. Potentially could Lightning Bolt from Frankenstein if something happens to the Kiki Jiki. And able to cast the exceptionally heavy bird next turn. Klunkerpunker now weighing the options. Got 3 mana available. Could cleave the Kiki-Jiki. Could play out the Gobbler. Could ninjutsu in the Glorbian Infiltrator, but the parry. Yep, so we're playing the Gobbler instead. Going to combat swinging with both, it would seem. So that'll be 5 damage, plus you'll get an ingest trigger after that. Unless we see the misclick come down. Oh. And parry giving Gobbler stat buff, and yes, here comes the misclick. Looks like misclick just removes from combat, so the Gobbler having Vigilance should still be untapped, but like I've said in a few of these other videos, these cards are fairly new to people in the grand scheme of Magic cards. It's not like a standard set where you play with the cards over and over again. We don't really see these cards that often, even if we are playing this set quite a bit. And so common rules mistakes can happen occasionally, and usually they don't tend to have that big of an effect on games. It's also possible that I'm missing some interaction, and the players are correct. Cleveland drawing a card and getting attacked by the Gobbler, I believe. Yes. Ingesting a mountain. So, Gobbler going up to 2 power. Gobbler no longer gives protection. But a past version of the card did. And as we said last turn, here comes the exceptionally heavy bird, a 5/6 flyer. And if it would leave the battlefield, it becomes a Star of Extinction instead. Do we have text for Star of Extinction? We don't, but I am fairly certain it's a removal spell. We will see if it... oh, there we go. Star of Extinction. Destroy target land. Star of Extinction does 20 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. So yes, a large board clear. And that'll get put on the stack as soon as this goes away. But yes, and it seems we've corrected the error with the protection. No, it should be a 2/2. It only gets power, not toughness. But our players will figure that out. Here comes Kiki-Jiki. And misclick. Klunker takes the 4. And goes to his turn. We've got the arm wrestling champion still. Oh, we've got 3 mana. Are we cleaving? We can't be glorbing. We could... Yes. I think you should cleave. I'm assuming we're removing the bird, but we could be removing something else. So we will see what happens. If that bird does get removed, the entire board will go with it. Lightning Bolt could bring back the Kiki-Jiki or the misclick. but Cleveland is, of course, tapped out right now. So we'll see what exactly the plan appears to be. Klunker does have more cards in hand. They have not much they could play, actually, if this were to go off. They could play the Edict, but when they did, they'd have to sacrifice a creature. Oh, but Perry does have that shield counter on it. So that, yes, removing this heavy bird would actually be very good for Klunker here, probably. And we'll see what exactly the plan seems to be. It's certainly unclear what is causing the delay. Or maybe we are simply trying to resolve or find the star. Maybe Klunker's still deliberating on what exactly they want to remove. I'll be honest, I'm not completely sure what it is that we are waiting on. We will see if I remember to cut this part, but most likely I will have forgotten. Where Cleveland goes from here, it's not exactly clear. It's going to depend heavily on this top deck. But this lightning bolt from Frankenstein will probably... I don't know. Because if you bring back the Kiki Jiki, you can't break a mirror, so you can't break a mirror because you don't have anything else on the board. So it'll just be a 2/2. You could bring back Misclick, which I guess you could do at instant speed, so maybe you do that on Klunker's next turn when they're swinging out with, this big 4/4. You can't bring back the bird because it's too expensive. So yeah, it very much depends on what this top card of Cleveland's deck is. Meanwhile, Klunker's next turn, I think Klunker really would benefit from drawing a land here. I might, if I were Klunker, and I know what's going on in Cleveland's hand, so maybe that's a little unfair. Yes, it seems like Klunker has made the decision to cleave the bird. I might ninjutsu in the Infiltrator for the Gobbler, because the Gobbler, relatively easy to recast, hasn't grown tremendously yet. And then that's another 2/3 with super flying, so we can get around some of those. Cleveland reducing their life by 8. Let me make sure I'm reading the transform. Start. Just each creature in each. Oh, taking combat damage from the parry and the Gobbler. Looks like the Star of Extinction maybe not resolving until now, till the start of Cleveland's turn, which I don't think is intended, but I'm not entirely sure. Klunker obviously can't ninjutsu the Gobbler, my bad, with the bird gone. Scapegoat velocity. This is a sorcery. We're suspecting, I guess, parry? Yes. Klunker playing out the planes. Not sure what Kikijiki's still doing here, and I'm not sure, because this should have resolved. Which, because it puts the copy directly on the stack. I'm not sure, but we shall see. Klunker down to 11. Cleveland drawing, sometimes you just need two men, two very nice bodies, as well with flashback. Of course, the bodies are legendary tokens, and so flashing it back won't do anything until at least one of those tokens is gone. It's now Klunker's turn. Klunker did draw a land, so can play out some of these bigger things like the arm wrestling champion. Looks like Klunker is taking that debt counter. Tapping 1, 2 for the cruel Edictic. Trying to get rid of Kikijiki, it seems. And there goes both Kikijiki and the Dik-Dik. Now going to combat, swinging in with the parry. But Cleveland hitting the lightning bolt from Frankenstein onto the misclick, which will remove parry from combat. Which is good because parry would give itself, I think, +2/+2 here, unless you get a debt counter. So I don't know if that's on a permanent you control. And then using the island where Jace goes to lose his memories to make a clue token off of the misclick coming in. And now back to Cleveland, playing out the mountain. And now, yep, sometimes you just need two men. So we'll see Corey and Craig. 2 3/3s with trample. Corey likes Craig, trucks, staying burly, and dislikes infect and death touch. Don't we all, Corey? And Craig likes Corey, his wife Barb, fishing, and dislikes big business and especially big pharma. Cleveland will swing at Klunker for 2 with misclick. Now back to Klunker. Now parry is suspected, so it does have menace, which to block parry fully, you'd want to double block anyway to really get it out of there. But I don't think Cleveland necessarily wants to give up Corey or Craig, though needing 2 men does have flashback, so could bring them both back if needed. Klunker drawing an island, getting to 5 mana, can now cast the Bonzi Buddy Saga. It is technically a saga, but it is also infinite and just keeps creating goated purple apes. Tapping 1, paying off the debt. So it looks like not going to play the Saga this turn. Maybe we'll see the arm wrestling chip. No, we won't see that either. Unless tapping the island to pay the debt. That makes more sense. So now we could see the arm wrestling champ. We could still see the Glorpian Infiltrator, but no, it looks like tapping 4 for that arm wrestling champ. Both a 5-3 and a 1-3. And passing it back to Cleveland, not attacking with Perry. Now Cleveland drawing Weekend at Bernie's, another good reanimator spell. Makes 2 2/2s and brings back a guy. And if you bring back Kiki Jiki with it, then Kiki Jiki can break mirrors on the 2/2s to create more puppets, or puppeteers. Because the returned creature only sticks around for as long as the puppeteers do, or if you kill a returned creature, it goes away, obviously. So yeah, bringing back the Kiki Jiki does have haste. And then getting 2 puppeteers. So if I'm Cleveland, I'm just going to keep breaking mirrors to make more and more puppeteers. Keep Kiki Jiki back, make Klunker have removal for it, and just fill up the board with 2/2s every turn. And if I'm Klunker, there's not much I can do about that. I probably want to try to get the Glorpian Infiltrator in because it's got super flying, so that's real hard to block. Aside from that, there's not much. I guess if you can triple crab Death Attack on the Glorpian Infiltrator, that'll make it a 11-12 super flyer, which is pretty good. But that's still a ways out. Triple crab Death Attack costing 7. Cleveland still thinking about how to proceed with this turn. Hand completely empty. Break a mirror is an instant, and so doesn't necessarily have to make an extra 2/2 now. But Misclip, Kiki Jiki, Corey, and Craig can all attack this turn. And so we will be going to combat. In comes Corey, in comes Craig. I would assume we'll see Perry block at least one of them. I doubt Klunker wants to trade with the arm wrestling champ, but maybe they will. Yeah, Perry's going to block Corey. Klunker going down now to 6. Somewhat dire situation for Klunker, but I think this could be come back from. It'll be hard to tell. The triple crab Death Attack can also just summon the 3/3s because they can be bestowed, but they don't have to. Perry loses the shield counter, which I believe Perry should have lost. Well, it looks like the bird, maybe they think the Star of Extinction got exiled, but it goes on the stack. Are we seeing the flashing back of 2 men, maybe? Maybe not. Looks like Klunker might have changed their mind about blocking. Trying to draw 2 with the arm wrestling champion. Drawing a swamp, that'll put Klunker at 6 mana. Can summon the Leadhound now, though I don't know how good for Klunker's health that'll be. Can rally the turn order. That probably won't be enough. I have a hard time seeing how Klunker comes back from this, but who knows? Maybe this clue has an answer. We shall see. Klunker going up to 9 because they blocked Craig with the arm wrestling champion, which is a better place. Of course, now they don't have the blocker, but they can play out the Bonzi Buddy, makes 2 3-3s essentially. The Leadhound is a 6-6. Can rally the turn order, which is just a 2-2, unless you can overload it. But the overload does cost 7, which Klunker does not currently have. So if I'm Klunker, I need blockers. I'm probably casting the Bonzi Buddy. Probably not swinging in with parry. Oh, no, he's going for it. Unless he's going to ninjutsu in the infiltrator. Parry makes itself bigger. Taking out 2 of the blockers, I suppose. Kiki Jiki is going to break a mirror. And that will make another 2-2. It looks like those 2 are going to block the parry. Cleveland taking 1 because parry gives trample. Okay, that was the key piece that I was missing. So Klunker does have a way of getting through a big wall of blockers. Klunker now in second main phase. Both players at 9. Tapping 1, tapping 2, 3, 4, 5. To install the Bonzi Buddy. And here comes the Malware Ape. It is goated, so it will have to attack next turn. Cleveland drawing the 1 mana value Trick Pony. It's very good. This could do Klunker in, because it'll give something +1/+3 and flying. We go to combat now. Sending in Craig. Cleveland tapped the planes. Looks like, yes, Craig was given +1/+3 until end of turn and flying, so Klunker down to 5 now. And then passing the turn to Klunker. No second main action here. Klunker now drawing Distracted Denial, a nice little counterspell. Not sure how effective it'll be against Cleveland with all that mana, but we shall see. Klunker checking their sideboard, probably seeing if Glorpian Infiltrator is worth bringing in, if there's anything it can grab. Let's see. Doesn't look like we can see what is in Klunker's sideboard. Cleveland now also looking at their sideboard. what Cleveland is cooking up or if they just wanted to feel included. Let's see what the play is here. Klunker doing some thinking here, maybe, or I'm not exactly sure what's going on. If I remember to clip that other part out, I will definitely clip this part out, but the chances are you get to see this raw and uncut. Oh, here we go. Tapping 1, 2, 3, 4 for How the Grunge Stole Christmas on Perry the Pulverizer. That does resolve. Perry swinging in. Cleveland blocking with Kiki Jiki and the Puppeteer. Making another Puppeteer with Break a Mirror would do nothing here because you need all the Puppeteers alive, or at least one Puppeteer alive for Kiki Jiki. Could have, however, made a copy of the pony. Cleveland is, however, casting Wing of the Cosmos because it's during each combat, not just your combat. So that should be enough to kill the parry and ensure that something survives. Well, something might not survive. Ah, but Klunker casting the Distracted Denial. Cleveland tapped out on white sources, cannot cast the Wings of the Cosmos again. So that will take out both the Puppeteer and the Kiki Jiki and deal 1 to Cleveland, which will allow Klunker to grunch. Klunker's grunching, and in this case, to grunch, you draw a target card in any zone, and the question mark is equal to the number of cards in your hand. So we'll see what card Klunker draws. I might draw that Distracted Denial again. That seemed pretty good. Or if there's a different counter spell. Might also draw the Flashback on the Just Two Guys out of the graveyard to deny that. Or the Misclick. Worth noting that drawing the card does not change the casting cost, so like the Misclick could not be recast. The Just Two Guys could not be cast. And the question mark is definitely going to be greater than 1, so Klunker will also get to discover 5 after they choose which card they're drawing. Taking back the Cruel Edict Dick, that makes sense. And then discovering Case Balerion, it would seem. So down comes Case. And that first ability will be solved if Klunker doesn't cast anything, which doesn't look like they can right now. So then they'll be able to make target player mill 3 times X cards. Case Balerion at 4 loyalty could uptick to have target player mill 2 cards and you draw a card. Can also uptick to exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your hand to plot it. So could plot the Glorpian Infiltrator this way, which would be very strong. But maybe wanting to get that left solve condition. And then the right to solve if graveyard has 20 or more cards. That's going to take quite a while, though we've seen it in some of these other games. Looks like Cleveland will be milling 2 cards. Drawing the Malted Shell for Klunker, and then Cleveland. It's their turn. Drawing a Plains, not what Cleveland wants to see right now. Not at all. Cleveland tapping 2 mountains to escape the Scapegoat Velocity, discarding that Plains. So it is the spell, so he's suspecting something, and then as it resolves, it escaped, and so it becomes a 1/1 red goat creature that is blitzed, suspected, and goaded. Now swinging in with everything, and Klunker can't beat that, so game 1 will go to Cleveland. Now stick around for game 2, which should be underway shortly. Cleveland opening up their sideboard. Klunker yet to do so. So maybe the deck is perfection. Oh no, here we go. Klunker also opening up their sideboard. Cleveland ready. We shall see about Klunker. Klunker also ready to start, or no, Cleveland ready to start still, waiting on Klunker. All right, game 2, Klunker will start. Let's look at this first opening hand. Got 4 lands, Naruto Uzumaki, Demonic Looter, the Arm Wrestling Champion. Not bad, the Demonic Looter, decent. Cleveland starting with the Ley Lions, quite the start. As well as 3 lands, some good stuff. Clunker will play an island. Cleveland drawing Cubone. I have a feeling this game might be shorter than the previous game, but we shall see. Swinging in with the Ley Lines. Clunker takes 2. That'll be the first turn. Clunker gets the swamp down, taps 2, bringing in Demonic Looter. Cleveland coming back. Draws Baiter of Rage. We'll cast it. It's a 0-2 with haste. You can tap it to goad something. Looks like that is what's happening. I would assume we're goading the Demonic Looter, which shouldn't do much, because you can always tap the Demonic Looter to loot. Sending in the Ley Lions. Will Clunker block? Yes, he will. I'll get rid of both the Ley Lions and the Demonic Looter. Clunker's turn now, playing out that swamp. And in comes Naruto Uzumaki. No mutate, just the normal 3/3. And if it deals combat damage, I guess we'll see that Demonic Looter come back. Not the best ability to have mutated underneath, but it is what it is. Cleveland paying 2 to cycle the Fallen Goblin that crushes you. Playing that red to cast it for its madness cost. And then it's going to fight target creature. And there goes Naruto. Cleveland drawing You Are Awesome, an enchantment with Exalted that you could blitz in if you wanted. And that Scapegoat Velocity. Clunker drawing another land, but we're at 4, so here comes the Arm Wrestling Champion. I'm assuming. Yes, there it is. Cleveland gets down a mountain. 4 mana, we could see Felier. Could see Cubone. Here comes Felier. 2/2 flyer. That airbends something when it attacks. And out comes the Scapegoat Velocity. Gonna suspect something. Probably the Arm Wrestling Champion. Not sure exactly how that works, if I'm being honest, whether each arm is suspected or just the creature as a whole. And then taps of planes. We could see You Are Awesome come down, which would allow the Baiter of Rage to attack. We could see Cubone. Never mind. Going to Clunker's turn, we've got the Woodcock in hand. 1 turn off from casting the Leadhound. And now we see that lightning bolt from Frankenstein bringing back the Fallen Goblin that crushes you, and that is going to fight the Arm Wrestling Champion. And Klunker will draw 2 off that right arm, which is probably exactly what they needed here. Now, Klunker's turn. Plays out an island, and that'll be that, not even playing the woodcock. Cleveland drawing the Kiki-Jiki again. Here comes your awesome for 1 mana, so it'll be sticking around. It's got exalted, so anything on attacks alone will get +2/+2. Paying 2 more mana. Oh, never mind. Go to combat first. Swinging with Felia, so that'll be 4. And then airbending up to 1 target non-land permanent, so that'll be Bader of Rage. Now Failure is a 4/4. And there's not much that Klunker can do about that right now. If they had played the woodcock, they could have chump blocked it, but that's probably not the best use for the woodcock. Excuse me. Probably won't be cutting that out either, so you guys enjoy that. I've found my mute button, so that won't happen again, hopefully. Cleveland tapping 1/2 mountains. Are we going to see the Kiki-Jiki? Seems like we've created an alt. Not sure if that's how adventures work, but sure. And then Klunker taking now 5 because Failure gets +1/+1 counter after casting the adventure, which was Airbent. And then casting the Bader of Rage from exile as well, putting Failure up to a 4/4. We've got Counterspell with any downside. Six mana now. We could see the Leadhound. We could see the Woodcock, which maybe Klunker's holding on to for Force of Femme. In comes the Woodcock. And now we are seemingly goading the Woodcock because the Bader of Rage does have haste. Cleveland drawing the Goblin Railgun. We go into combat. Yep, airbending the Bader of Rage. 4/4 in the air. Casting the Adventure. making another player, putting another counter on Failure. So it'll be a 7-7 flyer right now. Casting Force of Femme on the Adventure, I think? And just hard casting Force of Femme. So it will not be cleaved. So it does come in under Klunker's control. Cleveland doesn't really have a response for that as far as I can tell. Personally, I think I would have probably counterspelled any downside this. It's a blue spell, so the Beta of Rage and the Create and All are both blue spells. So it would only cost 2 blue mana. But maybe Klunker wants the extra body. Looks like there's some discussion in the rules channel. Update about last game. Casting, I think you should cleave on the bird is more of a phase out than a remove from the battlefield. So that is news for me. More typing in the rulings channel. Asking what happens if Force of Femme is cast on an adventure. I'm about to be logged out. That's not good. Waiting on a response from the judging team, which I assume is also what that earlier pause was about as well. And now waiting as the judges think and deliberate and check their phones, probably. Judge now typing. We are moments away from at least the start of an answer. Judge typing for quite a while, trying to figure out what happens to this creature with an adventure on it when it is forcefully femmed. Looks like Klunker is moving ahead to put a token copy in play. Looks like we're going ahead with the game at this point. Probably a good decision. Judge ruling saying it definitely becomes a 3/3 creature with no abilities. Rules as written says it should always be using its primary characteristics while on the battlefield, but that seems unintuitive with this unintended interaction. So I'd like to say it uses the characteristics of its adventure. It's a subtypeless creature named Create an Alt with mana cost 2 hybrid blue-red. Just like while on the stack, you just ignore the qualities of the part that was not cast. Klunker clarifying where the creature ends up. Cleveland following with can I recast the Baiter? Wow, really getting to see every aspect of playing Hellscube here on the Pro Tour, including waiting for judge rulings on silly things that no one could have possibly predicted. Judge saying the creature ends up in the same place the adventure ends up when you cast it as a creature. So I believe that would imply that the Bader cannot be recast. Judge following up, typing some more. Maybe not. Maybe that was enough. Looks like the Bader of Rage will be exiled from the stack. And perhaps play will continue now. Thalia seemingly now an 8-8. Getting chump blocked by the Woodcock. As you would expect. This Thalia is going to be a big problem for Klunker, I can assure you that. Cleveland now casting Cubone, I believe for its maternal death cost. So when it enters, the creature will sacrifice itself and make a 1/1 token copy. And because it's a token, it does not have First Strike or Vigilance. Now Cleveland tapping a red to equip the skull. The skull reads, equipment you control have. Equipped creature has evolve. Whenever a creature you control enters, if that creature has power toughness greater than the creature, put 1/1 counter on the equipped creature. Notably, this gives it to all equipment, so if there's another equipment, things will spiral out of control quickly. Especially if they're put on the same creature. Klunker's turn now, playing an island, drawing the Case Balerin. It is unclear how Klunker is supposed to get out of this one, if I'm being honest. But I not check the decks recently, so I'm not sure. We see Klunker tapping for 6. Here comes the Lead Hound. You don't lose life from radiation, and whenever it enters or a land enters your graveyard from anywhere, each player gets 3 rad counters. Klunker now passing the turn back to Cleveland. And here comes Cleveland. Draws misclick. Very powerful control tool, as we've seen. Now resolving those radiation counters. Milling up planes and a mountain and the 1 mana value Trick Pony. So, oh jeez, I don't remember how radiation works. Let's see. If you're getting your pre-combat main phase, if you have any rad counters, mill that cards for each non-land card mill. This way you lose a life. Which it seems Cleveland has remedied. Cleveland now at 19. Still 2 radiation counters. And maybe somehow Klunker finds a way out of this, but it is looking unlikely to say the least. Felia swings his turn. That'll be a 10-10 in the air. Certainly hard to deal with. And in comes Felia. It'll be a 10-10, I believe. Not sure. Oh. The Baiter of Rage was airbent by Felia and then cast by Cleveland, making Felia a 6/6 plus 4 1/1 counters, so a 10-10. Maybe bigger with the, if it's with the Exalted, if that's been added yet, then it'll be a 12-12. Klunker down to 5, taking 8, which I think 4 counters, 2/2 plus 2 Exalted. Yeah, that should be 8. So the numbers here are not quite right. Then casting that Baiter of Rage. So now it'll be a 9-9. The Cubone evolving. Let's see what Klunker can do. Dismal Hackwater, not gonna do it. Seeing what Klunker mills on the Radiation, the Pip Collector, the Glorpian Infiltrator, and the Distracted Denial. Maybe Case Balerin can find something, but it's looking unlikely to say the least. Tapping 3, 4-case Balerin. Milling 2 and drawing a card. Milling a Swamp and a totally normal Dojo. And let's see what we draw. I say what Klunker draws. Oh, and that's giving Klunker and Cleveland more radiation. Maybe this will turn out better than I thought. The Crouching Root Hidden Walla off the top. Not exceptionally strong. Looks like that might be it. Klunker showing their hand. That seems like that's it for this game. Cleveland not looking there. Yep, that'll do it. Thank you all for joining me on round 2 of Pro Tour Hellscube 8. And we'll see you in the next one.